clearly there is nothing in this budget policy statement which shows a firm commitment to reducing government expenditure so that we can live within our revenue. If our revenue is 2 trillion, for heaven's sake, prepare a budget that will be 2 trillion. An expenditure. Don't go for an expenditure for 3.6 trillion and you know you're headed for borrowing tomorrow to bridge that gap, and say Kenyans, are not paying. Kenyans are not, we want SMEs to pay 2.8 trillion. I mean, this is a joke. I mean, honestly, let me tell you, I've been handling these budget policy statements as the chair of finance in the Senate for 5 years. Very lofty statements, but don't even go very far. By the time the budget printed statements are done, you'll find that those printed estimates do not sometimes reflect the policy in this BPS. It will not. And sometimes the figures are not even the same. They will change because they'll realize that it's one thing to say we want to do this, but when they come now to write down what they want, other interests, political expediencies, developments, politics, every other thing comes in. I want a road for these guys. I need their support. Put it in. So things start changing. So I think that commitment, I expected the president when he was in Kisii and being told we want A, B, C, D, to tell them, gentlemen, hold it. We have no money. We have an economic crisis. We want to pay our debt. We want to reduce our, cost of living. So we are not going into any of these activities. Sorry. Instead, you tell everyone, bring your list, I'm going to do it. It's going to find its way into those printed estimates because of political expediency. And that means we'll end up in the same situation that we're already in.
All right, but the president tells us we are saving money by eliminating those costly fuel subsidies. There was a maize subsidy.
There's nothing costly. Everywhere in the world where there's an economic crisis and there's cost of living, governments are subsidizing the cost of living for their citizens. This is a fundamental right. You cannot tell me to pay taxes, but you are not willing to use that tax to help me feed my children. You find it a burden. It should not be a burden. You are simply telling Kenyans the cost of food is so expensive. Here we are going to subsidize so that you can get the cost of food cheaper. From the US to Europe, everywhere, governments provide subsidies to their people in order to reduce their cost of living. So to try and project, that subsidies are a burden on the economy. You always focus in this country, the problem is we're always looking at government. The economy is equivalent to government for Kenya. This is the mistake. The economy is not government. For heaven's sake, in countries that are developed, like Europe, where they are not building roads and people are not submitting those wish lists today, the government still focuses on economy. And the economy there is about expanding the incomes, providing jobs, helping businesses to grow. Those are the things that the economy is about. It's not about government. Here the economy is about government. We need money. I save money by not giving you subsidies. The government says we are very happy we have saved money. I mean, saved money from who? Your people are starving. You are saving money to give to your ministries, and you are very happy about it, and they are wasting that money. They are not using it effectively and efficiently for the benefit of people. Your people are starving. Look at the news every day. You are showing how many people are starving and dying, and you are very happy that they have saved money. They can't afford to buy food. They can't afford, people are struggling. So subsidies, removal of subsidies is really not something to celebrate. Frankly, when your people are suffering, you can celebrate if your people are happy. But I think that is not the issue. The issue is this government must reduce its expenditure. Like he said, they should not be living the way they used to live a couple of years ago because the situation is bad. Let us try and reduce the size of government. We have not seen any effort to rationalize government. This government has continued to expand like every other government. We have not seen any effort to try and rationalize expenditure on infrastructure and other things. And so this is why the CS Treasury has been very candid. Last week when he was launching this hearing, he said we have no more headroom for example, for loans and things. Our situation is very bad. Let us try and reduce things. But the political wing is going out there still looking for, more projects and more money to carry out things. I think there is need for the president to appreciate that the situation we are in today, those people who brought him to power, the hustlers, they have no jobs, they need more food. That's the thing they need to focus on. Forget about other things for the moment. I think if you start telling people other stories, soon it's going to, they will face reality. Who had one problem? His government did not live in reality. They were always completely Am I wrong?
No, you're
they were living
right.
on the
You're
moon.
very right.
When
Actually,
people were struggling, they were always saying, our country is the richest now in Africa. We have grown the economy 100 times, more than it was since independence, more than the 100 years since whatever the British came. And so many things. That was, it's completely misplaced. This budget policy statements, if you read the preface, it says the 2021, the economy grew by 7.5%. Now,
Yes.
between me and you, the President of the Republic of Kenya in 2021 said the economy is in crisis. He said it publicly in the rallies. The people who are now in power, the Deputy President then, they said the economy is has collapsed. Today you are telling Kenyans the economy grew 7.5, one of the highest in the world. Nowhere else in the world I have seen economy grow in 2021 7.5%. We would have all been happy. Everyone would have been smiling. We would have got jobs. Our incomes would have been higher. But 2021, people are dying.
The explanation, they preface that though, the explanation they give is that in 2020, I think it was 0.3%. So they say that it was a rebound come 2021.